Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot, with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things completely differently here on this channel. Keeping that in mind, if the message does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. There may be triggering statements that arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. And also remember that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything that you need in the description box below. And your time and your energy are a true blessing and a gift today. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to the prayer and we'll get your reading underway. Today we are looking into the channel message I received, which is your intuition wants to share something with you. And I'm excited because I feel like this is a really important message. Also, just really quickly, if you hear some background noise like hammering and construction tools, they're taking down a shed right next to me and I can't change that, so there might be some background noise, and I just ask that you have patience with me as we get through this today, okay? All right. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for a moment's time. Sometimes this mundane world prevents us from trusting our intuition fully. It has situations that arise that make us second guess the answers and the downloads that we've received. That at times it makes us feel like we're actually really disconnected, or as if maybe we don't have a deep connection with our intuition like we maybe once thought. And today I ask that you help clear that up for us. Remind us that even though there's a lot of noise in the world around us, that we still can always tap into this innate wisdom that resides within each of us. That we're never actually disconnected from it, as much as it is like opening and shutting a door. Sometimes we shut the door because of our fears, our anxieties, our hurts, our pains, our sufferings. And that likewise, we can open that same door when we open our hearts and remember that this is something that is us and we are it, and that neither us nor it is separate from each other. And that we can trust and rely on the infinite wisdom that comes from our own infinite cosmos within. As these words are spoken upon this tribe and onto this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me get that set up over here. All right, so for this reading, I was called to using the Archetypal Astrology Oracle deck by Jonathan Waller. I felt like this would be a great deck to really dig into something your intuition is telling us, because it not only offers strengths, but it offers challenges that we might go through as well. So we're going to be using this deck today. Move this out of the way. All right. Your intuition wants to share something with you. Your intuition wants to share something with you. What is it? Your intuition wants to share something with you. What is it? Thank you. Your intuition wants to share something with you. All right, pile one. Your intuition wants to share something with you. Source, what astrology oracle card is going to help us better understand this today? Thank you. Okay, pile number two. Your intuition wants to share something with you. Source, what astrology oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today? Your intuition wants to share something with you. Pile number two. Okay. Thank you. Your intuition wants to share something with you. Pile number three. Source, what astrology oracle card is going to help us better understand this message? Your intuition wants to share something with you, pile number 3. A lot of hesitation with pile number 3. Yeah, a lot of hesitation. I feel like, just really quickly, pile 3, your intuition comes in very quietly, but it's also, in a sense, it's like subtly strong. And that's something that makes you question at times, because all of a sudden it might be an overwhelming sense of knowing, but then wondering, is this my ego taking over? Is this actually my intuition? But we'll see what comes through that later. Let's check out the collective message today. Wow, we have Mars, Saturn. This makes me think of Excalibur's sword. Let me put it over here. Yeah, it's like the sword and the stone type of energy. It's like wanting to take action, but not able to take action until you're... It's almost like getting the right elements aligned with one another in order to be able to take that action. There's a lot of really dreary energy coming from this as well. Even though the sun has risen, or potentially maybe the sun is setting here in the background, it's still a lot of dismay and a lot of maybe depression and sadness or exhaustion at the attempts that you're making. And your intuition is telling you that as you continue to go, you're gaining the strength and the resolve that you need so that when the day aligns, you will be able to draw Excalibur from the stone. You will be able to see incarnated your strength, your wisdom, your knowledge that you have been receiving over this time on your journey. And your intuition wants to remind you that through all of this, there is nothing wrong with you. I feel like, especially with Saturn here, sometimes you can be very, very aggressive toward yourself and thinking that because things are not aligning by a specific date or by a specific timeline, that you start beating yourself up and saying that there's something wrong with you, like you're the problem because you're the common denominator in the actions that you're taking. And what this is saying, and your intuition wants to share with you, is that while that may be true, there are still a lot of things and circumstances and energetic movements that are not within your wheelhouse or not within your power. You have to trust the divine. And so if things are not aligning by the dates that you specified or by the timeline that you specified, yes, there is a reason for that, that all good things come in time. But also, maybe they're not aligning because you're being so cruel and ruthless with yourself in your psyche, in your mind, and beating yourself up and saying, obviously there's something wrong with me. I'm never going to be able to manifest what it is that I'm trying to manifest, that I don't have what it takes, or I'm never going to have what it takes, or I'm never going to be able to step up into that position that I want, or that ability or that strength that I want. You know, the minute that you put all that doubt at the forefront, the doubt itself, the fear itself is what's actually causing the barrier and the blockage. And in this case, maybe you pulling Excalibur out of the stone isn't happening because you're believing you can't. So what does it take for you today to begin believing in your potential of being that person that you so desire to become? It's not about becoming that person in some future date. It's about embodying that person in this here now moment, knowing that it has been alive and breathing within you all this time. And with this Mars Saturn energy, rather than being aggressive towards yourself, maybe moving that aggression and that hard work towards the journey itself. It's not that you're not a hard worker, you very much are, but there's almost as if everything that you accomplish, every goal that you set, it's built in with some sort of stipulation. So it's like, oh, I'm going to make this goal. And then when you make this goal, instead of celebrating you making that goal, you're like, yeah, I made this goal, but I also missed this mark, this mark, this mark, this mark, this mark, and I can't celebrate myself because there's too many things that I'm missing. Rather than saying, you know what, I didn't get as far as I thought, but I'm so grateful I did everything that I could to get to this point, because me taking action back then has led me to a place further than I would have gotten if I had not have taken action. And so there's something coming in with a belief about yourself that's very strong here. So let's see what Mars Saturn has to say from the book. I turned open right to it. Look, the Mars Saturn, I cannot. Like, that's awesome. Very synchronistic. On point. That's what they're saying, on point. How can you love and understand in passion if you've taken a vow against it? What you resist ultimately conquers you. Truth cannot be conquered. You cannot storm it. It will slip through your hands if you try to grasp it. Truth comes silently without your knowing. This is from Jiddu Krishnamurti with Mars trine Saturn. It says, whatever you think I need, I don't want it. If I wanted something, I could just take it. Please, I would keep you at arm's length if only my arms were longer. The Mars-Saturn pair, here's where the catalytic principle of action, physicality, and strength meets the principle of endurance, solidity, and constraint. Here's where the irresistible force meets the immovable object, where the impulse to act crunches into contact with the need for patience and caution. The pair is about active stubbornness and inflexible aggression. But it also is a sacred meaning placed of the warrior spirit and dignified restraint, the strength to do as one pleases, infused with the moral fortitude that is required to refrain from acting when necessary. Your gifts are there a certain kind of dignity that can only be expressed by those who have the capacity to overpower others by force and decided not to do so. A certain type of self-constrained and self-possessed warrior energy that knows how to win a fight, yet does not need to do so in order to attain validation. Mars-Saturn is the knowledge that aggression is there to be mastered and controlled, that winning an exterior battle while being internally ruled by anger is an unworthy act. And also that aggression towards self. When you actively work with Mars-Saturn, these archetypes help you to pick your battles so that you don't waste your energy engaging in futile conflicts and petty arguments. Mars is the archetype of bravery, yet in and of itself, Mars' confidence tends to come out in short bursts and burn itself out. Saturn can help you harness Mars' energy and convert its erratic fervor, wow, we're going to get there, into a consistent supply of practicable force or a capacity for sustained courage. Many of the most worthwhile experiences in life require you to be able to endure suffering, confront mortality, overcome arduous obstacles, and for that you are going to need the staying power. The urge toward physical fitness and prowess that Mars initiates in you works well in tandem with Saturn's proclivity for hard labor and repetitive activity. And the same is true internally. The desire for mental clarity and purposiveness is aided by the capacity for rigor and organization. The challenge is here because neither Mars nor Saturn is particularly receptive or reflective in nature. There are many challenges that can arise in the social arena that are associated with this pair. Under its influence, you might become overly stubborn, resistant to change, argumentative, or unable or unwilling to accept the wisdom that other people have to offer. There certainly are times when it is only right to stick to your guns, but be careful that you don't adopt adversarial positions without good reason. The healthy capacity to pick your battles has a problematic counterpart. Choosing the wrong hill to die on. Save your energy. Until you learn to integrate these two archetypes harmoniously together, you might have the feeling that your impulsive actions lead to hurtful mistakes that you then feel guilty about and have to live with the consequences of. Forgiveness and grace are not in the nature of Mars and Saturn, so you may have to look to work with other archetypes, such as the Moon, Jupiter, and Neptune in particular, to heal or consume some of this material. And to avoid accumulating any more of it, work to infuse your Martian impulses with Saturnian restraint and consideration before you act, so that you don't have to deal with Saturn's judgment afterwards. Often, the challenges of Mars-Saturn are associated with defensive behaviors that you use to keep people from having any direct access to your softer or more vulnerable parts. It's not uncommon for people to express Mars-Saturn as preemptive wounding as a defense mechanism. The logic goes something like this. If you can show people that you're dangerous before they can do anything to harm you, you stand a better chance of avoiding harm. It does make an undeniable yet limited sense. The obvious problems with this are that firstly, you must do serious, unjustified, and unprovoked harm to others, and secondly, you prevent people from getting close to you without ever getting to know what they might have to offer. Of course, it is important to be assertive, to be powerful, to know your own mind and defend yourself from harm, but try to notice if your strategies for safety are merely externalizing harm to others. Call upon Saturn's discernment to help you hone your ability to tell when the people around you pose a threat and when they really don't. The invitations here, working directly with Mars-Saturn, is a matter of finding ways to express and enact it physically so that your body learns how to healthily process the challenging feelings that can come up. What you are in need of is arenas where you are forced to learn the value of disciplined action or controlled aggression. Activities such as archery, axe throwing are excellent candidates, or as are weightlifting and interval training, but anything that is physically exciting while also demanding a high degree of concentration and accuracy will work. Yoga, provided that it is tiring enough, can also be a good way to do this. Undertaking this type of activity for its own sake is fine, but from an archetypal perspective, what you are really engaging in is an effort to learn how to respond to the somatic state of stress with restraint and composure. Honor Mars by allowing its energy to flow through you, yet honor Saturn by learning to titrate, control, and master that flow. Wow. So not being overly aggressive, and that also comes to being that way to yourself as well. There's something about seeing yourself through eyes of love, and there's something about allowing yourself to become the resolution that you seek. And at times, maybe when you're really frustrated, not taking that out on others, and also not beating yourself up for that. That's a very human thing. It really is truly coming into that sense of controlling your energy in a way that is more productive for its flow and for your journey ahead. And that is so much easier said than done. I can absolutely appreciate that. It's just taking time, patience, and the effort to do so, and remembering to give yourself grace for the moments that you might not get it right. Practice makes better. And the reason it makes better is because there's never ever going to be any such thing as perfect. And trusting that the minute we take one step, 1 inch forward, we're doing better than we were before. And that is enough. What a powerful message to come out at the beginning of this reading. So today was really called to using the feathers. I haven't brought them out in a while, but I'm excited to have them out today. And I find all of my feathers, they all come to me at the most random times, it seems, but also the most perfect time. Like when I didn't know I needed them and they came to me. All right, so for pile number 1, we do have this dice with the 11th house on it. And these really aren't anything connected to the pile themselves, just something additional to choose from today with the dice, okay? Or we have this owl feather for you to choose from, which I found in Springfield, Missouri. Okay, pile number 2, we have this Gemini dice for you to choose from. Or this Greckle feather, which came to me in Galveston, Texas. Pile 3, we have this dice with Mercury on it for you to choose from. Or we have this Mallard feather, which came to me in Mesa, Arizona. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, whichever pile you felt called to, that should be the one for you, and I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the 11th house on it, or perhaps you were called to this owl feather, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on your intuition wants to share something with you. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, if the message does happen to resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. There may be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, and keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing. With that, your time and your energy are a true blessing today. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what it is that your intuition wants to share. So pile 1, your intuition wants to share something with you. What would that be? Your intuition wants to share something with you. What would that be? So we've got the 10th house. We've got Libra energy, and we've got the North Node. So you could have North Node in Libra, Aquarius, or you could have the 10th house in Libra. And part of Fortune in Aries is coming through as well. You've been working really hard on something, pile 1. I feel like because things are taking an exorbitant amount of time, there's this fear that maybe you chose the wrong path, or that you were blinded by glitz and glam somewhere along the way, or that you were just not grounded enough when you made the choice to go this direction. But I feel like something in your gut, it called you to this, and you couldn't help but keep taking a step towards this journey. And that could be a company that you're working for, building something on the side, some sort of hobby that you're pouring into. Whatever this is, it's something you have dedicated so much time and energy and effort to. You have become a master of this without realizing that you're becoming a master. It's not like you're going to run out today and expect everybody to call you a guru, right? Or a sensei or something like that. It's not that, but it's just you have just integrated so much, and you have allowed yourself to be enveloped by what it is that you're doing. And your intuition is here to tell you that you have chosen the right path for yourself. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's about what is right or wrong for you. And this was something that felt so deeply right in your heart of hearts. And your intuition wants to share that you did the right thing for you. And that's all that matters. Can you trust that? Can you allow that to be the guide for you? Can you allow that to be the only reason that you need? This is something that felt right in my heart of hearts. I had to go towards this. I had to give it a chance. I had to try it. I had to immerse myself in this so that I could understand what this was calling me for. It didn't call you for no reason. Like, it called you for a purpose deeper than you might even know or might ever even get to know in this earthly plane. But it doesn't mean that it's for naught. However, when we have the 10th house, it's this energy that there's going to be a lot asked of you when it comes to this. Because anything that's worth having is not going to come easily. And anything that does come easily, most oftentimes it's not worth having. But we do see the struggle here with Libra energies. Like, I'm wanting balance. I want things to finally balance out. And I feel like what you're not yet picturing in the future, not yet seeing, is this balancing out is going to be much greater than you ever realized. But this, whatever it is that you're putting your energy into, your intuition is trying to share with you that it is going to become all of who you are. And you are going to become all of whatever this journey is. And that is something that has to happen first before the balancing of the scales. Because that's the energy that actually balances the scales, is you becoming the whole of whatever this is. And it's not even identifying with it. That's not what this is. It's just that your actions, your decisions, your choices, everything becomes influenced by whatever it is that you're pouring yourself into. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh, you know, like my life shouldn't be influenced by my work. It's actually much deeper than that. It's my life is influenced because of how my work, or what it is that I choose to do for work, impacts me. And so your life is becoming the product of that. And your life is going to mirror back to you a lot of amazing things. A lot of receptivity is here as well. But I really feel like this is something that's scary, because there hasn't really been too much of that equal give and take as of yet. Even though you've been fulfilled, and even though it feels good going towards this journey, and even though it feels really amazing to be able to accomplish the things that you've accomplished in your field, there's still something that feels like it's lacking. There's still the question, like, I asked for more when I asked for this, and almost the fear of, is this all there is? And then finding yourself questioning, well, if this is all there is it worth me still putting forth the effort to do this? Your intuition is saying absolutely, because without realizing it, somewhere along the way, you made the decision to gracefully stumble upon the path that was always destined for you, or designed for you, depending on how you look at it. It wasn't about what was right or wrong. It was only about you choosing to do whatever was right for you. But with the emotional ego, it does get in the way sometimes, because it likes to convince us that, oh, it's not coming to fruition the way that we thought that it would, or the way that I deemed was necessary for it to prove to me that this was the right path for me to take. Because our emotional ego is clever like that, it has very good tendency to make us question the path that we've taken. And I also feel like there's still a lingering of beating yourself up and feeling like, yeah, I want to be approved. I want to be validated. I need that kind of validation, whether that's from sales or from your boss or from clients or from other people. It's like, I need the validation to know that I'm doing the right thing. But even when the validation comes, or even if it doesn't come, like it still never shakes you from the journey ahead. Like, you still do the thing. You still do it. But it's almost like there's still a part of your emotional ego that's holding on, and your intuition is trying to share that with you. Like, that holding on, you're meant to do something vastly different than what even as a child you might have imagined you were going to do. Or maybe this is everything you imagined as a child you were going to do. Let's see what else. Your intuition wants to share something with you, pile 1. What would that be? Yeah. Your intuition wants to share something with you. Balance. Something about balance here. But the action that you take is the same regardless if there's balance or not. But something your intuition wants to share with you. Bottom of the deck. The 4 of coins in the upright. You know, to build something by oneself, it takes a long time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. There's a deep sense of protection here on your journey as well. It's almost like if you gave up today, pile 1, if you gave up today, what your intuition wants to share with you is that you'd be right back at it tomorrow or the next day or next week. There's something about it that calls you back no matter what. So it's like, even if you tried to throw in the towel, there's just no possible way that you could. I mean, unless you actively forced yourself to continue not showing up. I feel like it'd be like, you know, after you work out a whole lot, or after you do anything a lot, right? Like working out, overeating, watching a whole lot of YouTube, watching a whole lot of movies and shows, doing a whole lot of distracting things in life, whatever. It's like you kind of reach a point where it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot. Oh, alcohol. They just told me alcohol. Have you ever drank too much and the next day you woke up and you said, what's the thing you said after the hangover hits? I'm never drinking again. But then the next week you find yourself back at the bar, back at the club, or back with your friends hanging out. You know, if you drink, or if that's something that you've done in your life, you know, it's like those things. And it can be the same with TV. It can be the same with sex. It could be the same with you know, our phones. It could be the same with anything. Sometimes we just hit this point where we're like, I can't ever do this again. But then a little bit of time passes and suddenly we're like, nope, I'm back to it. And it's almost as if we forgot that we said that to ourselves, that I'm never going to do this again. That's what this is for you. It's what it is for your soul. There's something here where it's like you have merged with a portion of your soul that keeps nudging you forward. It's like these gentle nudges. It's like, we got to keep walking this road. We got to keep walking this path. And your intuition knows that. And I feel like intuitively you get signs whenever you're not hands or knees deep in whatever it is that you're doing. You're getting consistent signs and signals from source, from the universe, from your angels, from your guides, from yourself, your higher self. You're getting all these nudges and these signs that are like, yeah, this is the right thing for you. But then there's like this tiny little bit of time that just is filled with so much negativity, like, but I'm not as far along as I want to be, or as I expected, or I'm not producing the way that I feel like was promised to me. But it still doesn't keep you from showing up. But I do feel like that doubt has a tendency to get really loud, and your intuition is reminding you that the doubt is the illusion itself. And actually, with this being the doubt that's coming in, You may resonate with the collective message that I did at the very beginning of the reading. You'll find that timestamped in the description box if you feel called to watching it. So that might hold additional messages for you. But this doubt within you has so much potential to get out of control. And then it determines how you feel for the day, and it determines how you feel about what it is that you're doing. And then you get back to doing whatever it is that you are focusing on. And when you're in it, you're so tapped in that that voice gets thrown to the wayside. So it's like it hits you in the downtime. Yeah. Look at this, all this action energy to build something substantial, moving forward. But the thing that's stopping you from building something substantial is this very immature internal doubt, this internal belief. This feels very internal. And the wands represent the spiritual energy within us. And so there's some part of you that's likening that to, oh, well, spiritually, maybe I'm not as tapped in as I thought, or maybe I'm not as in tune as I thought, or maybe there's something that I'm doing that's wrong. And your intuition wanted to share with you that that's not actually accurate, because there's the battle here between the action that you're taking forward and that doubt that's coming up that creates inaction. And that's what's been battling here. And we see that that is the bridge to this Four of Coins, stable, not only monetary energy, but also just stability in this world, in this realm, in this physical realm. But no matter what, like, this is protected for you. And it's just that there's time right now for you to focus on facing this part of yourself that is very gullible or very doubtful or very unnerving to you. And there's a part of you that has been focusing on that. But I do feel like for you, it has to do with wanting to really build that financial freedom and that financial success in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I oftentimes talk about how this journey is so much more than monetary gain. And it really is. And I feel like for you, pile one, there's so much that you've gained on the journey that you are able to grasp that. But it doesn't mean that that has eliminated the desire for financial freedom or financial stability. And that is okay, right? To have a desire, to have a want for something, it's normal. That's human of us. And that's a part of our manifestation journey, is to have desires that get fulfilled. But there's something here that is blocking you from the action that you're taking. There's some sort of fear. There's some sort of worry about being seen. There's some sort of incongruency here. And what is unique is that your intuition is trying to remind you that where you're at now is so much stronger than where you used to be. But there's still a part of you that's holding on to who you used to be. And right now, that integration of spirit and the journey, your higher self and your journey and your conscious awareness is coming to aid you in dealing with this. But it still does come up, and it's still like, oh, but you know, like, if I were supposed to be successful, wouldn't I have been successful by now? If you would have been, you would have been. So trusting that even if it's not coming when you said that it should have come by, or when we expect it to come by, remembering that it does not mean that it's not coming at all. Sometimes there's just things that we have to overcome in order to manifest that. Look with the 10 of Swords here in the upright. This has been emotionally exhausting for you. This feeling like, oh, well, if I were supposed to be successful, wouldn't I have been successful? If I were supposed to have financial freedom, wouldn't I have financial freedom? Like, I'm at the age now where these are all things that should be a part of my life. But are you? Or is that societal beliefs coming into play? Or is that your emotional ego fighting with you to try and convince you to stay small so that it feels safe? You know, and these are questions to ask yourself so that you can overcome this block that's creating this fear of stepping forward into your abundance now. Abundance is mirrored from internal self-belief. And so when you find yourself in a state of inner stability, inner self-worth, inner value, and all of these are in alignment with the journey, which we do see you're already in alignment with the journey. Your intuition wants to share with you that trusting the process is truly the only thing that's left to do. And that means a full surrender to what I'm doing is getting me to where I need to go. And I know, Pile 1, that is probably one of the most challenging things to do on the journey, because we've been brought up to believe that we can control outcomes. And even with people on the manifestation journey, they're like, oh, you can control outcomes. You can manifest $1 million in 24 hours. But, you know, the thing is, is that most of us have so many internal beliefs that keep us from manifesting abundance like that. It's not that it's impossible, but the general populace has so many doubts and fears that they're already facing that is not necessarily something that everybody can do, right? Again, I'm not saying it's impossible. That's not, but we have to look at things from a realistic standpoint. And right now, your intuition is reminding you that you've already grown so much, and trust in the power that you have to get yourself through the hard times and to even get yourself through the self-doubt. You're battling yourself, but what you're battling is a younger version of yourself, an outdated version of yourself, a version of yourself that didn't know how to create the life that you're already creating. So you already have seen with your eyes that things can be different than what this older version of you believed. And that's why the full surrender is coming in, and your intuition is reminding you that the full surrender will get you there. Show up. Do the thing every day. And no matter what happens, no matter how long it takes, that's the scary thing, right? No matter how long it takes, reminding yourself that doing this every day will get me to where I'm going. I know that this is getting me to where I'm going. And when that little voice shows up, remind yourself, no, I'm doing the actions that are getting me to where I'm going. I'm doing the actions that are getting me to where I'm meant to be. And it's just a reminder that you have more power now than this voice has over you. And that's what your intuition wants to share with you. But it's been struggling to get that message to you, because again, that doubt can spiral out of control and turn into something very massive in a very short amount of time. And that's what doubt and fear and worry and stress, they all do that. So there's nothing, and again, there's nothing to blame yourself here for at all, right? We have a house, the 12th house coming in here. Spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So this is a part of your healing journey, and trusting. But again, with that idea of surrender, you know, the 12th house is the most spiritual house in the astrological housing, the houses, right? It's connected with Pisces. It's connected with Neptune, the unseen. It's the things we are walking into the unknown for, and that asks us for surrender. And so this is asking you to surrender and trust that stability, that foundation is just on the other side of surrender. Trusting that you don't know when you're going to get there. But that's okay. You don't have to know when you're going to get there. That's never been a part of our journey, is knowing when it's showing up or even how it's showing up. Just knowing that what to do. That's the only thing we really have to rely on, is what to do to get there. Yeah, look, opposition, an imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. And we see here the power struggle visibly being shown in the cards between the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. This is the power struggle, but this is something that is internal. Okay, that's the imbalance right now. But a part of you is believing that the old you is correct in some point, right? And that's where surrender comes in. It's not necessarily about eradicating the voice as much as it is just trusting that if I do this action, I'll get to where I'm going. You know, I've talked about this before. I used to have this job where I was allowed to work, well, like I could come in as long as it was any time between 7 and 9. Okay, I could come in at any time between 7 and 9. And then I didn't have to work a whole shift. Like I could work until noon as long as I hit my numbers. And not very many people hit the numbers, but I had been on the phones for a long time. At this point, I'd been on the phones for 12 years. And so working on the phones was nothing new to me. And I talked to my manager, and I had done a lot of training with the higher reps in the center. Like I specifically asked to train with the best selling reps in the call center there. So I was very proactive for my own journey. But this was when I first started learning how to manifest. And I remember going in and watching this video. And the guy said, he's like, imagine the outcome. Then imagine what the outcome feels like. And for me, it was standing in the courtyard, standing outside of the company, being able to get off at noon. Because we only, if we got our numbers, we could leave as early as noon or as soon as we hit our numbers. So I would always come in at 9 and we would get paid for an 8-hour day. And I would always come in at 9. And before I started my shift, I would imagine what it was like to stand out in the courtyard with the sun hitting my face and how that felt at noon, knowing that I could go home. Every day that I did that, I hit my numbers. But on the days that I struggled, those were the days that I did not imagine that. I did not take the time to feel into what it was to be done. And I would get frustrated and flustered, and I'd have to work a whole shift. And I would always hit my numbers right before, like 10 minutes before I ended my shift. And, you know, I might get to go home early, but what's 10 minutes compared to 5 hours, right? So that's the difference here. And so it's one of those things that if you don't if you're not proactive for yourself, then don't expect things to just fall into your lap. And it's not that I'm saying you expect things to fall into your lap, but it's just a reminder to yourself. I feel like your emotional ego is saying, well, if it's not falling into our lap, then obviously it's not for us. That's not the case. That's not what's happening here. It's, remember, your proactivity is doing the thing and knowing that this thing is going to get you to where you want to be, whether that's making a certain amount of dollars per month or per year, or whether that's having a certain clientele come to you, or whether that's having a certain amount of sales, or whether that's having a certain reputation or status, or whatever the thing may be. Just knowing that if I show up and do the thing, that is how I battle this weaker opponent that is trying to win within me. That's what your intuition is telling you. So we did have this card flip over. We have Venus in Aquarius. We have detachment. Detachment from the outcome. Letting go of, look, and the 11th house, right? So we had 11th house on the dice before you started, right? So that was what you chose with the 11th house dice. And so isn't that interesting coming back in? Detachment is where you're going to find your freedom here. And your intuition is reminding you that to be detached means to be unbothered by how the outcome comes. When it's coming, where it's coming, how's it coming, all of those, what is it, the 5 W's and the H, letting that all go and just knowing that the only thing I need to do is what I've been doing all along, and just focusing and being so present on focusing on that active movement. That's it. There's nothing else you need to focus on. Everything else will come in due time. It's not when we deem it is right. It's when it's right. That's it. It's not us saying, oh, it has to come by, Saturday, February 9th or whatever. I don't even know if that's, but you know what I mean, right? It's not us saying that. It's us reminding ourselves that it comes when it comes. So, and then when on the bottom, we have Mercury in Pisces with inspiration, right? So your inspiration is already here. It's what you're doing. You're feeling very inspired by this. You're feeling very connected to this. Okay, but again, we have 12th house energy here. The full surrender is where you get full inspiration. This need to be honest with yourself about the things that are holding you back, or the potentials that are holding you back. The sun representing the emotional ego here, okay? And reminding ourselves that the ego is not what's in control, that it can and is best used when working in tandem with our intuition and higher self. And that is a possibility if we allow it. But see, there's a definite discord here. There's a cut. It's like, oh, we're separate from one another. I don't want my ego to be a part of my journey. But the ego is what gives us identity. It's what makes us have personalities and characters and all this stuff. So we don't want to rid ourselves from the ego. But what we do want is to remind the emotional ego its place, right? It's not the master of ourselves. Our intuition and our higher self is our master. Our emotional ego is something that is of a servant. And when we get into that state of allowing it to be the servant, not the master, we found a very balanced state. And that's where honesty truly comes from for our journey moving forward. But again, the struggle is real to get to that. Not everyone can get there, or not everyone is able to get there because the fears that they have are too large. But your intuition is coming in to say today to share with you that you have the ability to get there if you open your heart and open your mind to the potential. Yeah, emo tip, visionary. Okay. So we had inspiration and then visionary here. You have these good ideas. The sun, again, coming in behind you. It is not the forefront of the journey, okay? Your emotional ego is not the one that has the spotlight. You have the spotlight, but choosing to be in the spotlight versus your emotional ego. It's that choice that you make when the emotional ego is making so much noise, saying like, oh, we're never going to get there. We're never going to do this. And letting it take you down this rabbit hole of fears, doubts, worries, concerns, and tapping into those old beliefs that said, well, if it hasn't happened by now, then it's never meant to happen. Those are all the illusions, right? Manifestation is a very unique journey, but it's going to be different for everybody. Trusting that if it's not your journey looking like someone else's, that's exactly how it's meant to be. It's meant to be that way because your journey is not someone else's journey. There's no way they could ever come into comparison with one another. You're comparing apples and oranges, bamboo and oak. They don't belong in the same category as one another. Okay, so you're getting 2 of these. Whoa, if I can hold on to them here. On the bottom, we have dog with companionship. And this feels like, again, this to me is giving me energy of letting the shadow be your companion right now. Because the shadow is where the emotional ego has been taking the reins, right? The things that are unknown. But let your shadow be your companion. Let yourself trust in that process and what you're learning from the shadow, right? What are these fears bringing up for you? Why are you believing in these fears? Like, why do these fears hold truth to you, right? Digging into this will allow you to face that fear from a place of safety, knowing that you're no longer experiencing that. Like if it's something from childhood or if it's something that you experienced much younger, you're no longer in that questionable situation. You're in a safe space where you can explore it freely now. And once you let your shadow become companion to you, this also helps quiet the emotional ego, reminding you that it's not about when the ego deems it's right, wrong, necessary, this, that, and the other. It's not when the fear is guiding us, but when we're allowing our heart to guide us. And we already have seen many times for you, Pile 1, that your heart has been the leading component in what drove you to choosing this area of your life. So trusting that that's right for you. Okay, so these two flipped over for you. We have retrograde, reflect, refine, redo. Yeah, so we're refining this process. It may feel like things are going backward. It may feel like things aren't working out for you. That's the illusion. The reason things are slowing down right now, or maybe not going as fast as they once were, is so that you can refine. You're becoming a master, and your intuition wants to share that with you. You're becoming a master, and so anytime these potential feelings of things going backwards or not coming to fruition happen, it's a moment for you to redo and refine your already very progressive energy. And then we have the sun. Shine, sparkle, and steal the spotlight, right? It's not the emotional ego's time. This is for you to steal the spotlight for yourself, the journey, and letting yourself be seen as authentically as you can. Being honest with yourself first allows you to show your authenticity to others, because you're coming from a very honest place, on embracing your shadow, embracing your insecurities, embracing all those things that everybody and their mom is trying to tell us we have to rid ourselves of. They're a part of us. We cannot rid ourselves of them and expect us to live a fully integrated life. We have to accept those ugly, unsure parts of ourselves that we've been trying to hide for a long time. And it's through that acceptance that we begin to shine in a way we never thought was possible. 11th house, build your community. So a lot of 11th house energy here. Maybe that's something that you're trying to do, is build your community or be seen online, or have, like a website take off or something like that. It doesn't have to be. This could be science. This could be community and humanity building things that you're doing. This could be really connecting with a lot of clientele and other people. Okay, so there's a lot having to do with connecting with others, or also relying on others to build up your business or your position, which is also scary, because how do you rely on others? And that's what Source is saying here, is that it's not about relying on others as much as trusting that your community is coming, and your intuition wants to share with you that you're in the process of building that community. So trusting that. All right, so let's see what we've got here. We've got the sun in Scorpio with endurance. Yeah, you might really, really resonate with the collective message at the beginning. Right now, it's not about what you're manifesting as much as it is enduring the path. And the reason that there is for the endurance here is because that's where all the secrets become unveiled. That's where you learn a lot about yourself. That's where you learn your resolve, your want to continue on this journey. Right? It's like I said, if you walk away today, you would be back tomorrow. It's by design. But that's that 8th house energy. It's like the subconscious is at work here, but how can you bring the subconscious into the conscious, into the awareness? And that's a lot of, through that endurance, you're going to be understanding parts about yourself that otherwise wouldn't have been triggered through going this journey the way that you've been going on it, or the way that it's been unfolding. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what was I saying earlier with the dog and the companion? We have Nematona with safe space. It's so vital for you to unpack this in a safe space and remind yourself that you are in a safe space. Right? You're not going through those traumas anymore. You are not experiencing the wound of those traumas. You're in a safe space where you can unpack that and really explore yourself deeper and become comfortable with integrating those parts of yourself that maybe you've been running away from for some time. And that's okay. Again, it's very human of us to do these things. You're not weird. You're not strange. You're not doing it wrong. You're being human. And that's what this journey is all about. Yeah, equality with Seahorse here. So your intuition also wants to share with you that we're trying to bring people onto your journey, right? With the 11th house energies that have come out, that are on equal standing with you, not you trying to fight to be seen or feel like you're trying to run from people who are trying to make you conform, but rather to stand with people who understand you. And I feel like it's going to be a slow process, but it's also going to be very substantial in your journey, something that's very, very foundational for you. Yeah, okay, so I know why these both came out together. We have Red Crown Crane with loyalty. This is about recreating loyalty in your life. But look at this image. What a powerful image is the last one. She's flying on this crane, right? She has her head on the back of this crane, and the crane is flying her. She's high above the earth. This is full surrender. This image is so synchronistic with the reading itself. This is about you surrendering into this journey. And that's part of the mountain that you're climbing right now. That's part of the challenge that you're going through right now, is the full surrender. And that's okay. You're going to get there. And I feel like that's something that your intuition wants to share with you, is that you are going to get there. It's a matter of time, but it will happen. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to read this from the book for you. We're going to see what energy came out for you here. So we have Sun and Neptune. Wow. So you could be a Pisces Sun, or have Pisces highly aspect in your chart. You could have a very malefic Neptune placement as well in your chart. And that's why it's really difficult for you to surrender. But it's just a very interesting energy, right? Like we were talking about that with the 12th house energy. We've got Sun and Neptune. You know, there's all this energy that's coming in where it's like trusting the unknown. All right, let's see what Sun and Neptune says here. All right. Uranus and Neptune. All right, it says there are two selves. I can't. The separate ego and the invisible Atman, which can also kind of be likened to the all. When one rises above I and me and mind, the Atman is revealed as one's real self. So we're talking about that, being honest with yourself and letting your authentic self shine. And that was verse 13 from the Katha Upanishad. Okay. And it says here, an ocean of stars peacefully awaits your will to become water. Like turning water to wine, right? Like turning your will to water, turning the stars to water, right? These are things that can happen here. Here's where the solar principle of the individual selfhood, creative vitality, and day world ambition meets that of infinity, spiritual oneness, and divine emptiness. Sun Neptune preside over a spectrum of experiences that stretches from mindless daydreaming and wishful thinking all the way up to the spiritual self-actualization and unitive experiences. The gifts here, Neptune is the great cosmic ocean to which streams and rivers eventually return, and the sun is the source of all energy and vitality in the world of differentiation and individuality. So Sun Neptune represents a blessed opportunity to notice how you yourself are a participant in this great cycle of consciousness. As the sun beats down upon the ocean, it energizes the water, which separates from the whole and evaporate. The clouds drift across the earth as clouds divide further into droplets and fall as rain. The droplets seep into the earth, through the earth into streams, which trickle down into wide rushing rivers, which find their way home again to the ocean. As the solar archetype comes similarly through your being, it empowers and activates your will to pursue individuality. And that idea is also why we don't want to get rid of the emotional ego, because that's part of our individuality, right? You become a separate being. Learn to express yourself creatively and participate in the flourishing of the world around you. One way or another, you eventually find your way back to stillness and oceanic unity. Sun Neptune invites you to end your strange resistance to this process and flow home. The essence of Neptune is no boundaries, so when it is activated mutually with the solar archetype, it works to dissolve any hardened boundaries that may have built up around your ego or self-concept. This is an invitation to explore the Taoist notion of wu wei, or no action. The idea, surrender, right? The idea that when you act in accord with your natural unfoldment of the universe, no effort is required on your part as an individual. This is not an invitation to bask in apathy, but rather Sun Neptune helps you to remain serenely in flow, unconcerned by the mind's resistance and reactions while you go about navigating whatever situations arise. I love this confirmation. Thank you so much, Source. Another spiritual insight related to the Sun-Neptune pair is the Buddhist notion of Atma, or not self. Sun-Neptune calls upon you to become attentive to the impermanence and changeability of your own self. Your thoughts and emotions arise, stay for a while, and then melt away. Your plans for the future dissolve and evolve upon contact with the world. Your experience of selfhood, far from being solid and unchanging, is actually in a constantly shifting flow. This might lead you to ask yourself, what is the value of being overly attached to this or that idea about who you are? Psychological flexibility, spiritual receptivity, and peace within impermanence of things are the gifts of Sun-Neptune. You don't need to waste your vital energy in clinging to concepts, ideologies, and narratives. With Sun-Neptune, it's enough to simply be. Okay, so then we have the challenges. If, as is normally the case, you depend upon various attachments to your self-concept in order to navigate the world, the influence of Neptune on your sense of solar identity may feel weakening. We were saying that in the beginning. I was getting that energy of needing to be validated by others because that's what made you feel like you were doing the right thing. Okay, so we see that when that was in play, that was when your Neptune on your sense of solar identity was weakening, confusing, or mystifying. Instead of flowing effortlessly from one task to the next, you might find yourself drifting haplessly from moment to moment, struggling to find the motivation to act in service to your own growth and development. It is only natural that you will have developed boundaries around your ego, designed to defend it from change. There is no reason to be hard on yourself. Many branches of modern psychotherapy see the strengthening of the ego as their primary goal, hoping simply to empower their patients to feel more secure and capable of acting in the everyday world. There's nothing wrong with this. There will be times in life when simply coping with the material concerns of the day-to-day world is all you can manage. For this, you need a strong ego. Right? We don't want to eradicate our emotional ego. We don't. That said, the role of Sun-Neptune is to open your awareness to a mode of being that is less limited by material attachments and self-serving agendas. When Sun-Neptune weakens the ego defenses and dissolves its boundaries, it may become harder to engage with the mundane dimensions of life. And you'll know that especially if you have Piscean placements. Okay, ideally, you will be able to retreat from the high pace of modern living at times to make the most of Sun-Neptune influence, but for most people, this will not always be possible. In one sense, what is called for is the ability to switch from one mode of being to another. Make time for intentional spiritual practices without forgetting your daily activities and aspirations. In another sense, the path forward involves a seamless blending of the two, right? A full integration here. Remember, your practices should, in an ideal world, benefit you most when you aren't directly practicing them. Washing dishes can be meditation. The invitation is, as with nearly all combinations involving Neptune, the best guidance is to make time for meditation and contemplative practice. What I was saying, asking those questions to yourself, journaling is going to be very, very beneficial to you. It is quite simple. To become less attached to your suffering, spend less of your time and energy reinforcing your dependence upon that which makes you miserable. If you don't know where to begin, a simple practice of being with breath for 20 minutes each day is a good place to start. Okay, and the mind will wander. That doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Just bring your attention back to the breath. Focus on, for experienced meditators, Sun-Neptune transits offer wonderful times to attend a retreat or to increase the effort that you give to your practice. Okay, so for those of you that already are doing meditation on a regular, like, it would benefit you to focus more energy on that. For those of you that maybe you dabble in it, it's just a good start to create a consistent practice right now for you. And this is what your intuition wanted to share with you today. So an incredibly powerful message that's coming through. Very, very insightful. If you felt like this was your message, you know what? Leave the eagle emoji down below and say, By being present in this moment, I am able to allow my potential to unfold. It's not about doing, it's about surrendering and trusting. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this powerful message. A very special shout out to your intuition for wanting to speak this today. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Gemini on it, and this is not just for Geminis, this is just something additional to choose from. But if you are here because you are Gemini and drawn to this pile, that is perfectly okay. Or if you are drawn to this Greckle feather, or perhaps you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on something your intuition wants to share something with you. First, I'd like to say we're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, if the message does happen to resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. And keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. Your time and your energy are a true blessing and a gift today. So with that, let's go ahead and get to it. Now, I was receiving a channeled message, and this is like coming through the love of family. And the deeper, like, this felt like the decisions that you had to make when it came to someone close to home, or like your children or your spouse. I was getting romantic love coming in, so this is someone that you could be romantically interested in or involved with, but also someone that you consider family. So this could be like a friend that you consider family, but you would also like to go to a new level. But there's like a fear of a decision to make here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with taking it to the next level. It could just be, again, having to do with family. And it doesn't have to be romantic. But that is the energy I was getting at the beginning before I started your reading pile 2. And I feel like your intuition has been definitely attempting to get you some clarity in regards to this. Some deeper truth. But the fear has been keeping you from trusting the downloads that you've been receiving in regards to this person or to these people. And it could be because of the position that they hold in your life. It could be the label that they have. It could be because you love them deeply and what you're being asked to do feels very challenging. But I feel like this is what your intuition wants to share with you. Something in regards to a situation like this. And the difficult decision ahead. And remembering that sometimes the right thing and the difficult thing are the same thing. And sometimes that can be a challenge for us because we want the right thing to be different from the difficult thing. We want it to be easy. And there's no, again, like I'm always going to say this, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. But wanting it doesn't make it true. And honoring that and being honest with ourselves, it's interesting because you had Gemini, the dice to choose from. And so I feel like there's a deeper honesty that needs to come through here. But also reminding yourself that you are incredibly adaptive so that any situation that does arise, you are so incredibly smart and intelligent that you can figure it out. You will find the right resolution for yourself, but also keeping an open heart here is very important because the minute that you say, oh no, I can't listen to my intuition because it's asking me to do something that I don't want to do, then our intuition silences itself because it's saying, okay, you said that you don't want the information that I'm going to give you. And it's not, again, it's not a bad thing. It's just that it's honoring your request. I don't want to do that. I don't want to listen to you when you have to say this. So right away, I do feel like this may be a difficult message because of this type of energy coming out. And so I just want to mention that. Like I said, there may be triggers that do arise. So we're going to go ahead and hop to it, and we're going to get into this a little bit deeper. But the message that was coming through is very, very clear, and it was very strong, and wanted me to mention that before we got into the dice. So pile number 2, your intuition wants to share something with you. What is it? Your intuition wants to share something with you. What is it? Oh my gosh, I cannot right now. We've got the 7th house indicating intimate relationships, business contracts, connections, divorce, marriage, family. Okay, like our most interpersonal relationships here. We have Aquarius energy and Mars. Yeah, so there's something here. This is not all right, especially with Mars. You know, we've got Libra energy and Aries energy coming out. So you could have Libra or Aries highly aspect in your chart. You do not have to. You could have Aquarius highly aspect in your chart. You could have Mars in the 7th house. You could have Mars in the 11th house as well coming in here, okay? You could have Venus retrograde came in really, really loudly right now. So that's something that's coming in. All right. Yeah, there's someone here. You know, the thing is that I feel like what your intuition wants to share with you is that you've been dealing with people who are emotionally disconnected. They're emotionally unattached to how things play out with you. And again, I feel like this is someone, or this is a group of people who you care deeply about. Like you would give everything that you had to make them see that you love them and that you deserve their love. And it's not that you don't deserve their love. And that's what I feel like your intuition has been trying to show you, is that these are people who are incapable of making space for you in their hearts because they don't know how to. And there's something here where there may be very aggressive words between you. There might be someone that's lashing out at you because they're feeling insignificant or they're feeling insecure. There is someone who plays nice for a little while here, but then suddenly things switch on the drop of a dime. You don't understand why things go that way. It's like there's like the honeymoon period where things are okay, and then there's the crashing period, the separation period, right? And it feels like there's this questioning that's coming in from you. It's like, I don't get it because I'm such a good person and I'm so loving and I'm kind and I'm compassionate. And if they could only see just how loyal I truly am, if they could only see that I just want things to be this equal give and take, then they could love me. But what your intuition is trying to share with you is that there's nothing that you can do, pile 2. There's nothing that you can say. There is no physical act that you can take that would make them see how worthy of love you are, because they're literally blinded to it. They're blinded to what love means. They don't know what it means to them. If they don't know what it means to them, how could they ever understand what it means to you? There's no way. They just cannot put that shoe on the other foot. There's no space for it. There's no space for it. This is someone who's trying to wear a lot of masks. They're trying to fit in with a lot of different groups of people. This is someone who wants to blend in while also standing out. And this is also someone who's gotten very comfortable in the situation that you have with them, recognizing that if I act a certain way, maybe I can have control over the situation. And your intuition is reminding you that no one can control you if you do not give your power away. So the question here is, can you step into a detached state with this Aquarius energy? Can you step into this detached state and allow things to unfold while also staying empowered when they're trying to bait you? when they're trying to get a reaction from you, when they're trying to make you feel insignificant, when they're trying to make you feel insecure, or when they're poking the buttons because they know that you want their love, but they're also feeling inadequate and insecure by not knowing how to give that to you. And so they're feeling bad and they want you to share in that feeling of misery. And so they're doing everything in their power to control that so that they don't feel alone. But you also have love somewhere else. You have support somewhere else. And that could be from a friend. That could be from other people, a community that you connect with. That could also be from your spiritual community coming in. So you know what it is to receive love. But unfortunately, the people that your intuition is talking about here, they're just not in a state where they can give that love to you. And there's nothing that you've done wrong, Pile 2. And I feel like there's just that reminder that you need right now. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't deserve to be treated that way. And it's unfortunate because we think that it's something we personally did to people. Like, we personally did this, so that's why they can't love me. But it would have been this way if it were anyone else too. And sometimes that hurts too, because also now I'm not special, right? And it's not that. It's not that. But it does feel like that. And I can absolutely appreciate that as well. It's just that the intended target is whoever fulfills the role that you're fulfilling in their life right now. So whether that's partner, spouse, friend, parent, child, grandmother, grandfather, auntie, uncle, father, mother, whatever it is, like the role that you play in their life right now, that's how they would treat the person who fulfilled that role, no matter who they are, or anybody that's willing to get that close to them, to know the masks that they wear, and to see the ugliness that they have behind those masks. And it's only ugly because they deem it as such, right? They don't want to fix it, but they also don't want to be distance away from it, from the people that they feel like give them validation. So it is a very narcissistic trait, but I'm not here to diagnose, so I'm not here to say that they are, but I am saying they are exhibiting a very narcissistic trait right now. So let's see what else. Your intuition wants to share something with you, pile number 2. Your intuition wants to share something with you. Yeah, the fear of starting again. And especially if this is like a spouse or a relationship here, there's this fear of having to let go of something that was built over a long time. If you've spent years upon years with this person, or if they've been in your, it's like, again, if it's a family member, and maybe this is someone who's been in your life your whole life, Why do I hear that? How do I say goodbye? How do I say goodbye to someone who's been with me my whole damn life? Right? How do I say goodbye to someone who's been with me my whole damn life? And I'm not trying to curse. It's just a line from that song. And I can't remember. There's no way you could ever let me down. So promise that I'll start again. You'll always be my closest friend. And someday we're gonna make it out. So just hold the light. Just hold the light. So how do I say goodbye to someone who's been with me for my whole damn life? Who gave me my name and the color of your eyes? I see your face when I look at mine. Right? So there's something here that's very precious between you two. So whether that's a family member or whether that's someone that you see yourself in. Okay, and that's why this song is, I wish I could remember who sang this song or even what the name of this song is. It's such a good song, and it's a sad song, but it's a really good song. And so if you know the name of the song, or if you know who sings it, if you would leave that down below in the comments for other pile 2s, that's such a help. And I just appreciate those of you that do that. You guys help so much, and I'm so honored. But, it's like that. It's like someday we're going to make it out. Just hold the light. But right now, all you can do is follow the light. But what happens, pile 2, if you're the only one that follows the light and these other people or this other person does not? What happens? What happens if you moving forward and they stay stagnant? What happens? Eventually, things are going to naturally unfold, and that means that you might vibrate out of their lives or they might vibrate out of yours. But I do feel like there's a sense of holding on to something here because of the position that they have in your life. And again, it's okay. Like, there's no reason to be angry about that. There's no reason to be upset about that or to blame yourself for that. Okay, that's not what this is. And if you're angry about the situation, honor that. And if you're upset about the situation, honor that too. But don't take it out on yourself, right? Like, don't take it, oh, there's something messed up with me because I can't let go of this person who treats me this way. Or I love this person so much, like I just can't let go, That goes to show just how deeply you love. And I feel like there is a lot of anger behind this situation. And I feel like there's a lot of unspoken words behind this situation. And if you can't speak the words to this person, can you speak them to yourself? And that's what your intuition is trying to share with you here. What's your intuition trying to share with you? What is your intuition trying to share with you? Wow, already a deep message. Haven't even got all the cards out yet, and we're already into this. So deep. Like, these archetypal astrology cards, they take me somewhere else. The energy just goes up and up. Yeah, this is someone who's rather cold emotionally. Like, they're just very emotionally detached, and they don't have much to give, and that's the thing, like with her, the way she is, and she's looking towards the future. The only thing that they have to give in the future is discontent. Sorry, I have to take out my dreadlocks. I have them up in a ponytail right now and they're pulling on my head, and so I feel like this is, usually I don't have to take them out when I'm on a reading or anything like that because I'm okay. And so I feel like me getting a headache right now is something that you yourself are experiencing. I have to take off my rings while I talk about this some more. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of relief all of a sudden. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is hurting. And I feel like there's a lot of downloads that you're receiving that just give you a lot of headaches because they're telling you what the best course of action is for you. And third eye, like across my third eye, is feeling kind of cloudy right now. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like you're seeing that as a bad thing. You're seeing it as like, source is just trying to hurt me, or my intuition is just trying to hurt me more. Like, why wouldn't they, when I've been hurt by everyone in my life? Like, why wouldn't they also go against me? Why wouldn't they also try to lead me down this path where I'm going to get more pain? And pile two, I can appreciate that sentiment as well, but they know things behind closed doors and behind the scenes that we could only ever hope to imagine to know. And they are seeing everything that's going on behind closed doors. They know how this person is thinking of you. They know how this person is treating you. They know if this person is doing it consciously or unconsciously. They also know the path that this is going to lead you towards, the destruction that's potentially there, or even the freedom that's there. And so the reason we're getting downloads that sometimes feel like they're painful or feel like they hurt is because we're scared to let go. We're holding on to resistance because we're afraid that we might not get something better, or we're afraid that we're letting go of the best possible outcome. And that, have you ever seen something where you're holding on because you think that just one more corner, if I turn just one more corner, then things will shape up, right? If I go just a little bit further, then things are going to come to fruition between me and this person, or me and these people. But what if there is no corner? What if you're on a straightaway and the only reason it feels like a corner is because you're turning around in a circle? And that's why it's so vital for you to be honest with yourself. And again, it's just this idea that you have a freedom of choice. But the pathway with this person or with these people, it is already a challenge, and it's not you starting over. And there's no amount of time, like if this person's been in your life for your whole life or for a huge portion of your life, there's no guarantee that that equates to trust, respect, loyalty, compassion, kindness, right? Just that is something in and of itself that I feel like we have confused. Oh, if somebody's been in our lives for 20 plus years, then that should equate to loyalty, and it doesn't. And it never will. Like, that will never equal loyalty. You either are loyal or you're not, right? You either have respect for the other person involved or you don't. Like, there's just a lot of things here that are at play, and seeing that this person is very emotionally closed off. Like, they're nowhere, shape, or form in a place where they can give to you emotionally. Yeah, resistance to change. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so there's been a lot of resistance here. A lot of resistance at play. And, you know, it's interesting. It's just interesting because you have the opportunity to bring stability into your life, but I feel like the stability that you think that it should be, or that you've imagined that it should be, is actually vastly different from the real stability that can come into your life. Look at that. You got a pretty pair right here. A king and a queen, both in the reverse. So this could be parents. This could be kids. Okay, this could be a spouse and a child. This could be someone that's a Cancer and someone that's a Pisces. Okay? This is a lot of emotional immaturity. Someone who flies off the handle every time they feel like they're being attacked. And whether that's true or not, right? Like, whether they're actually being attacked or not. They don't actually stop to question that. They just are like, oh, you're attacking me, so I'm going to treat you like however I feel. So, you know, like, if you're making fun of me, then I'm going to treat you how I feel. If you are calling me out, then I'm going to treat you like how I feel. And there's also this expectation of having, you know, maybe they're a little bit older than you, or they're a lot of bit older than you. That's what it feels like. It feels like somebody is older than you here. And they don't have to be. But there's, or someone has more worldly experiences than you, or they've traveled more, they've gone more places than you have. There's this belief that, like, oh, I've seen more of the world than you, so you don't even know what you're talking about. And I feel like your intuition wants to share with you that you do know what you're talking about, but this person is closed off, or these people are closed off to the experience. They're closed off to learning from you. Their biggest concern is the future, what the future holds, but they're so motivated by what has happened in the past. And it's showing here that it is a lost cause. There's a lost cause here. There's no overcoming this. Again, there's nothing that you can do to elicit change in another person. No matter what anybody says, we all have free will. There's no connection deep enough that you can change enough to elicit change in another person. Because they have to choose to change. And that's their choice. And you can have people who be resistant to life their entire lives. That's not a burden for you to carry, and that's what your intuition has been trying to share with you and wants to share with you now. But there's a lot of stubborn energy here. There's a lot of an obstinate refusal to change. There's also showing that there's the opportunity for you that even though making the choice that's best for yourself will make it feel like you've lost your footing, you will regain balance and even better stability moving forward. It is uncertain. The path forward is very uncertain. But there's an energy around you right now that is not loyal to your success. It's not loyal to your outcome. It's not loyal to you. It's only loyal to how it feels, about how it feels in the moment. And that can be good, that can be bad. But you shouldn't be at the whims of somebody else's immaturity or emotional immaturity. And sometimes that has to do with making a choice for oneself. Okay, so we have a lot of fire energy out here. We have Sagittarius and Leo. We also have Capricorn energy here. Okay, so those could be signs that you're dealing with Or that could be something that you have highly aspect in your chart. Capricorn in the 4th house, Leo in the 5th, Sagittarius in the 9th house, Cancer in the 9th house is coming through here. Mars in Cancer is coming through it as well. All right. You could have a Pisces Sun, Pisces Venus. Pisces in the 12th house is coming in as well. Or malefic 12th house placements are coming out as well. So there is struggle here, and I feel like your intuition has been trying to give you this message in the kindest way possible, because pile 2, you are a very sensitive soul, which is a beautiful thing. For as much as you love and as deeply as you love, and your intuition knows how to soften the blow for you, because it is hard. It's hard when someone is never going to love you the way that you love them. That's hard. That's hard, but it doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love. It doesn't mean that you're not deserving of love. It just means that maybe you're asking the wrong people to love you. And if that's the case, then that means that there are other people out there who are ready and willing to shower you with the love and the admiration and the support that you deserve. Okay, we've got the 2nd house coming out, all about your self-worth, physical security, possessions, material values, and self-worth. Your self-worth has been taking a toll. It's like it's been getting hit time and time again with this person. Like, this is also feeling like someone who is rather sneaky in the way that they play this out. So like, they may give you a lot of breadcrumbs at one point, only to sweep the rug out from underneath your feet. Because they like being in control. They like being in control of how other people feel. They like being in control specifically of how you feel. But honoring your self-worth and your self-value says, I put a stop to that because I take care of myself. And no one can have power over me that I don't give them that. Yeah, this is about your spiritual growth too. 9th house. This is about empowering yourself in a very spiritual sense. Knowing that there is something better for you out there. Which is sometimes very hard. It can be very hard. Look at that. Didn't I say at the beginning that you're very adaptable? And we have the moon in Gemini with adaptability. Trusting that you're very adaptable. You can overcome this hardship that you've been going through. You can change. You can find peace again on the journey. You can find balance. You can reintegrate that into your life. 3rd house. So 3rd house is early learning, our rational mind, early childhood learnings, the way that we reason with the world, the things that affect us as we grow older because of what we've experienced, right? So it's almost like there's an obligation to hold this connection, and the obligation itself is forcing you into a dark corner. 3rd house again with Mercury in Gemini, excitement. Are you listening? Look at this. He has this listening horn here. But it's turned down. It's not turned up to the world. It's turned down at the ground. That immobility right there, right? Like this frustration. Like if I answer the call, it's asking me to do something that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. I see how all this looks like this is a message that's been trying to come to you, but you're not really receiving it just yet. And again, that's okay. Like dealing with situations like this is really hard, and especially for someone who has such a deep well of unconditional love to give, because that question comes up is like, why can't you love me? Why can't you love me the way I love you? Like, I don't understand that. My love should be enough for you to love me back. I just don't get that. Like, if you loved me the way that I loved you, our relationship would be vastly different. But we're expecting someone else to come towards us the way that we would come towards us. And that is where it's unfair. And we can't expect someone else to have our perspective on the world when they've lived their own life and they have their perspective on the world. And even if we cannot understand or grasp their perspective, it doesn't make it wrong, because it's just their perspective. That's just how they have taken in the world around them. And it's okay that we don't understand that. We don't have to understand that. Just like this person doesn't have to understand your perspective. So instead of trying to force them to fit together, the best possible thing you could do is find people who understand your perspective, where you might not share the exact same perspectives, but you're able to mesh because you have very similar outlooks, rationalities, and thought processes on life. On the bottom of the deck, we have the 5th house. Oh my gosh, look at this. We have the 5th house with Mercury in Leo. We have drama. Didn't I say the 5th house in Leo? Drama. There's somebody here who wants to cause drama. They like it, okay? Or there's a group of people here. They like causing drama. They might say, I hate drama, but then they're always the ones that are stirring it up. They're always the ones that got something to say when there's nothing that needs to be said. Okay, and that's what they're doing here. Look at this lion. It looks like it's totally like starved and deprived. They're starving for something other than the way that they've lived, but they don't know how to live any other way. They're literally influenced by the drama. They're influenced by their way of showing up or lack of showing up. Let's see what else comes out for you here. Your intuition is trying to share something with you. All right, on the bottom we have, look at that. Inanna. Believe in yourself. This is all about self-belief and self-worth. Okay, like your intuition wants you to come back to this place of self-belief and self-worth. You know what? If they don't want to love you, that's on them. That's their loss. You have such a beautiful heart, right? Being a sensitive soul is not a bad thing. It's not. You have a beautiful gift to give the world. Let that be their loss. They lost out. You did everything within your power to offer them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. But at what point, Pile 2, you're going to say enough is enough? I cannot give you an infinite amount of opportunities while still trying to respect myself at this point. Because they've shown you time and time again that they are incapable of giving to you the way that you deserve. Yeah, we have Wolverine here with fierceness. So there is a lot of anger here, but we also see, like, this feels like your guides here. Maybe you have a very fierce guide that helps you battle, that goes to battles for you. But I feel like this guide is now touching into this physical realm through you to help you deal with this energy. And I feel like sometimes you might question, like, wow, I feel like I was really harsh with that person. But were you really harsh with that person? Or were you setting a very solid boundary that was uncomfortable for you to set? And asking these questions will help you really tap into that fierce energy, that energy of empowerment, while also understanding what parts of you might be lashing out because of the way you've been treated. Right? And there's no blame here for having to lash out in the world. That's just something that happens naturally. Especially as humans, it's something that happens because, you know, we feel the pressures of the world, or we feel the pressures of the hard things that we've gone through. And lashing out is just something that happens. But also we're trying to learn how to stabilize ourselves internally so that when the pressures of the world get to us, we can still maintain peace and balance within our emotional stability, right? And that's just a process. So if you have moments where you lash out, give yourself grace. And if you have moments where you win the battle because you stayed in your emotional intelligence and your emotional maturity, celebrate that. It's like the reward system, right? You reward yourself for what you did good, and for the times you did bad, you keep showing up with peace, patience, and persistence. That's it. You don't chastise yourself for the moments that you didn't do exactly what you wanted to. Right? We have Capricorn that flew out here. Buckle down and get to work. So I feel like your intuition is reminding you this is just a part of the journey right now. It's working on aligning yourself to your self-worth, grounding in your self-worth right now. On the bottom of the deck, Midhaven, mind your reputation. See, and I feel like this is the thing, like, you're struggling with certain things or certain aspects of how to set solid boundaries because it seems cruel. It seems very unkind. And here's the thing that they want me to ask you, Pile 2. Is you setting a boundary more unkind than the way that they've treated you? It's something to ponder. I can guarantee the answer is no. So is it really unkind? Is it really cruel for you to set a boundary that protects yourself from a situation that continues to bait and hook you, bait and hook you, bait and hook you? At one point, you're going to be out of the water too many times. You're literally going to suffocate. You don't deserve that. No one deserves that. So this comes to respecting yourself enough to say enough is enough. Right? They've shown you they cannot change. And if they keep giving you the false hope that they're trying to change because they want to bait and hook you, then instead of giving to them the way that you used to in the past, pause and allow things to unfold. Because when you pause and you don't do the same things, then their equilibrium is messed up and they'll go right back to treating you the way that they did, because this time didn't work. So if I treat pile 2 worse, then the next time that I bait them, I'm going to hook them right away. But now you're not chasing the bait, and that's what has them all twisted and uncertain. Yeah, we've got rest with Star Maiden here. It's time for you to rest, to recuperate from this type of energy. And that's why it's so important for you to set boundaries, is so you can set times for you to go away from this energy and reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your intuition, reconnect with source. Look at that. I can't make this stuff up. We've got Deer with power. This has been all about your emotions. Your emotions are running high, and of course they would, because there's an emotional connection here. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not weird because you're emotionally connected to somebody. No, like that's us. That's this reality, right? We're not trying to rid ourselves of that. That's not how that works. But this is about regaining your power, your sense of power, to re-empower yourself and to take control of your emotions. This situation, they've learned how to bait you based on how you feel, your emotions. Oh, if I play at pile 2's heartstrings, then I'll get them to do whatever I want. And instead, with you setting boundaries, you're saying, no, I respect myself more than that. Yeah, I have a beautiful well of emotions that I'm willing to share with someone who's willing to share with me too. But you're not willing to share, so I'm sorry, I put the lid on it. You don't have access to me that way. And then we've got, Sea Otter transformation. This is where the transformation happens for you. Re-empowering yourself and letting yourself be empowered by the fact that you have such a deep well of emotions. And you see the transformation here. The water goes up to nearly her sacral chakra. It just touches right above the root chakra here. So it's grounding ourselves, and this is my right to feel, and understanding that it's okay for you to stand in that emotion, okay, in that love, in that kindness, in that giving place. But it's not for everyone. That's where your transformation lies at, okay? What a powerful energy. All right, so let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book, all right? We'll see how further this gets into. We have Uranus with Pluto. Look at this. It's like walking through some sort of, I don't know if you all remember way back in the day when computers were first starting to be a thing in homes, and when I had them in the school, like we used to have the screensaver that was like the infinite maze, and it was like, that's what this reminds me of, is that infinite maze screensaver. It would like be a box, and it was like you were the person going through the maze, and the box would just keep spinning in all different directions, and you were on a point of view of the camera. And then when you got through a different area, or you would walk straight through a wall, and then the walls would change. They would go from being like really trippy to being like this color, or they would change from like this color to being like bright green and purple, and they were always changing and moving. And that's what this feels like. And that was chaos. Okay, that was chaos. And it's so weird because it's giving me that image right away, is that point of view. And so I'm seeing it from your point of view. It's like a chaotic maze that has no end. Like even when you get to the end of the maze, it starts over again. That's what I'm feeling from this. And so it's interesting because it's like the light at the end of the tunnel is just an illusion. That's what the illusion is here. It's like this person gives you a light at the end of the tunnel, but their light at the end of the tunnel is the bait. That's the bait to hook you back in, to bring you back in. And that's what I feel like from this image. You know, you see this is like a brick path. I don't know. I hope the camera picks that up good. It's like a brick path that you're walking to, but this isn't even the light at the end of the tunnel. This is just a light that's floating in the hallway. So you can't see what's beyond it. And what's beyond it is more maze. There's no getting out of this maze. There's no getting out of this. This looks like a mine even here, built from wood or whatever. Right? So it's just waiting for the moment to explode is what it feels like, to trap you, to have entrapment here. What an interesting energy. No wonder you were feeling like that headache energy. It's pretty intense, right? Like the mind games, that's intense. Like it wouldn't surprise me if some of you suffer from massive migraines, and it's because of this energy. Like once you set a solid boundary and with this energy that is safe for you, okay? I can't tell you exactly what that would be because it's going to be different for everyone. But when you set a solid boundary for yourself that is safe for you, you're going to start having those less and less, because you're going to be freeing up that energy that's weighing on your, it's pushing down on your third eye. That's where the migraine starts, or it's pushing down on the crown chakra. That's where I was getting it, really at the crown chakra, and also across the forehead and the third eye energy here. And that's going to help you get and receive better downloads for your journey moving ahead. Okay. It says Uranus Pluto. Your shock and your doubt will be great, but from such torment, new life will be born. So already showing that this is a tormenting situation. This is like torture, right? It is. It's mental torture. It's just absolutely, it's appalling. It really is. This is by Carl Gustav Jung with Uranus square Pluto. It says, hearken to the rattle and the tremor of your breaking. Hear that unfamiliar vibration, falling, rising. Listen for the trembling potential in your dying. The everything we are decides the tone of our decay. The compost heap of plans, hopes, and ideas gone awry. The path that crumbles, doubting underfoot, is the right way. Right? So often the right thing and the hard thing are the right thing. Okay, it says, here's where Promethean impulse towards freedom and progress encounters the primordial and evolutionary power of the plutonic underworld. This is one of the most driving and powerful archetypal combinations, and its many expressions include progressive and revolutionary causes and visions of utopian futures pursued with wild abandon, radically transformative breakthroughs in science, technology, art, and psychology, drastic empowerment. Somebody's alarm just went off. Drastic empowerment. I said that and their alarm went off. Whoa. What a confirmation. It says, and liberation of sexual and erotic drives, personal experiences of death and rebirth, transformation, sudden outbursts of rage and revolutionary spirit. Yeah, so we've got a lot of synchronicities already. The gifts here are what is offered to you by the pair of Uranus and Pluto. Most fundamentally is the gift of dying to your old self, or to the old paradigms, and being ecstatically reborn into a more inclusive sense of selfhood, or a new way of relating to the world. Just as during birth, you probably went through an intense struggle, passing through the immense pressure and life-threatening danger of the birth canal, before emerging triumphant and free to experience life in a new and unfamiliar world. So it is with all experience of Uranus-Pluto energies. This pair shows you the deep truth that the more consequential the potential negative outcomes of a rite of passage, the more positively life-changing its successful completion may be. With Uranus-Pluto, you may need skin in the game, and there is no hedging your bets. You have to put it all on black. Leap into the unknown and face what comes. Whatever arena of life this archetype emerge in, transformation begins with the breakdown of your existing way of relating to yourself and or to the world around you, which we've been talking about this entire reading, right? This typically comes along with the surfacing of any doubts and fears regarding your current paradigm, which we see with the relationship the paradigm's been playing out time and time again. Okay? which you may have previously been able to repress or forget, but which now present themselves in a manner that cannot be ignored. Experiencing these repressed contents is not easy, but it is a gift. For it is seeing, acknowledging, and accepting fear and doubt into your heart that you prepare the ground for the transformation of what you have, in reality, already outgrown. This can be so for all processes involving Pluto, but Uranus is the planet most directly associated with the light at the end of the tunnel. It represents your chance to break free and to awaken to something better and more brimming with potential and hope than what came before. What you reckon with during turmoil becomes your most unshakable truth. What is forged in the crucible of existential doubt becomes your greatest treasure. The inner fire you kindle is the thickest, deepest darkness, is a flame that never goes out. With Uranus Pluto, your desire for freedom from oppression and equality for both yourself and others can surge upward with volcanic intensity. My left ear started ringing as I was reading that. As Pluto empowers the Uranus archetype within you, simultaneously, Uranus can liberate and awaken unconscious material, including repressed memories, memories of your birth and early infancy, and ancestral memories, as well as bringing forth breakthroughs related to how you experience, express, and enact the animalistic, instinctual, and sexual parts of your nature. Whatever the arena of expression, Uranus-Pluto reveals the intensity of passion that lies beneath your surface, vital qualities for navigating the trial by fire zeitgeist of the moments in history when even the gods are undergoing transformation. I just quickly want to pause before we move into the challenges here, because when my left ear rings, for women, that is something that is of good fortune. For men, that is a challenge. Okay, so it could be that you're a divine feminine on here dealing with a divine masculine, and dealing with the challenge itself is where you'll find good fortune. For masculines, it would be dealing with the good fortune is where you might find your challenge. And it's like how you choose to relate with that is how you're going to move forward, whether that is through some seamless process or through something that seems like give and take or that feels blocked the entire way. Okay, and I feel like part of it's just integrating both of those. The challenges here, the purifying and enlightening fire of Uranian Plutonic transformation shines bright and casts a long shadow indeed. While it may be so that progress depends upon people taking radical action to destabilize, disrupt the harmful and oppressive structures of society and culture, it is also true that revolutions that depend upon violence to succeed rarely lead to outcomes that remotely positive, stable, or sustainable. Uranus and Pluto are deeply crucial forces that drive the collective development of humanity, ultimately in a direction of broader inclusivity and more equality and freedom. But the manner in which that development occurs depends on the willingness and ability of people to integrate their own unconscious material. With Uranus-Pluto, you might find yourself drawn to extreme measures to improve life or attain freedom. Adopting a position of the end justifies the means, a thought that never occurs, except when the means themselves are so deplorable as to require justification. While it is possible that the emancipatory causes you are passionate about are just, and that those who stand opposed are themselves so deplorable as to seem to require extreme measures to overcome, there is danger with this pair that you may project the Plutonic principle onto your adversaries and come to see them as evil, irredeemable, or deserving of suffering. This is never the right approach. And we see that that's something that's been happening to you. We don't have to turn around and give that back either, right? This is that reminder that we have to remind ourselves to do it for our protection. It's not doing something cruel and unjustified to them as much as it is just setting a solid boundary for ourselves, okay? It says this is never the right approach and is always a signal that you are being ruled by unconscious material that should be rightly that rightly should be faced internally. Only by integrating your own plutonic shadow can you truly understand the more positive and life-sustaining nature. The invitations here are Uranus-Pluto energies generally can't be meditated away or dealt with through silent contemplation or mindfulness practices. They are pressing high-energy forces that require something a little stronger. Ecstatic dance, primal screaming, holotropic breath work, medicine work are some of the best ways to get into the psychological, emotional, and spiritual material that these archetypes relate to. It is important that such activities are facilitated well because in order for them to be productive, you need to be able to experience and fully express the spectrum of possible emotions, including fear, doubt, anger, aggression, and sexual desire. Your safety and the safety of other participants and facilitators depends upon well-defined, mutually agreeable boundaries and high standards of ethical conduct. So again, setting the boundaries is where your transformation begins here. And also maybe getting in touch with somebody who specializes in one of these works will help you start to set solid boundaries for yourself. But this is something that your intuition has wanted to share with you. And it's very powerful. Remember that you are deserving of love, pile number 2. Even if it is difficult right now to see that, that doesn't mean that you aren't deserving of love, okay? So your reading went way longer than I expected, but this is what I see for you. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the moon emoji down below, and I'll let you choose which one. Just say, by tapping in, understanding, appreciating, and expressing my emotions, I am able to then know myself to set boundaries that keep me safe in all situations. And if it resonated with you, it'd mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. So with that, I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, as well as a special shout out to your intuition for coming in with this message today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Mercury on it, perhaps you were called to this mallard feather. Or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be a reading on your intuition wants to share something with you. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, if the message does happen to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Keep in mind that triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There is no obligation to force it to fit, and triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. With that, your time and your energy are a true gift and a blessing today. And let's go ahead and get started with your reading. So your intuition has something to share with you, pile number 3. Your intuition has something to share with you. What is that? Okay, so we've got the 7th house. We have Aquarius energy and we have Jupiter. Interesting. So you might have resonated with one of the other piles. And really quickly, if you did spend all 3 piles with me, that's part of my Purple Heart Club. You can leave a purple heart down below or just say that I made it. And I know what that means. And I'm really honored for those, especially on long readings like this, who choose to spend the entire time with me. That really does help the channel and it means so much to me. And if you're only here for pile number 3, you are equally as precious to me. And I'm really grateful for your time and your energy today, okay? So your intuition wants to share something about it seems like there's a relationship here that is coming in where you're actually very unattached to how things are going to happen between you and this person. It does feel like one person. It could be multiple people or like a community. But I feel like this is a surprise for you, and your intuition wants to share that with you. This feels like a surprise. It feels like, oh, like suddenly you bump into this other person and you hit it off right away, and you guys have these really deep spiritual conversations, and you connect on a level that you never thought. Like maybe one of you asks one question, and that one question sends you both into a spiraling conversation about things that you've always wanted to share with other people, but you've never had a segue into sharing that before. And this one person just suddenly asked the question, or you asked the question, and this person just started bouncing ideas off of you. It feels like both of you guys are completely unattached to how things turn out with this connection. You could have met online. Okay, you could have met online. You could have met through a community. You could have met through an app. You could have met in like some sort of group gathering as well here. You could have met on some kind of museum tour is coming in as well. So this is like someone you have met or someone you're going to meet soon. But there's like a really stable connection here, and both of you are just kind of like, like if it turns into something, it turns into something. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like you guys are just really very present with each time that you connect with each other. So it's like if they call you, you're both very present on the phone. You give each other your undivided attention, and that's such a gift, especially in this time of this day and age, right? You both give each other your undivided attention. If you're chatting online, like you both give each other your undivided attention. Like you're very present with what's happening. But then as soon as the conversation ends, you both go about your day, and you might think about each other, but it's not like, oh my gosh, is this my person? Or what is this going to turn into? Are we going to be best friends? Is this going to be romance? What is this going to be? Like both of you guys are just like, wow, I really like talking to them. And you're like, they're like, I really like talking to pile number 3. They really, really enjoy that. They really enjoy this back and forth exchange that you have. And it feels very abundant, and it feels very fruitful too. It's not like you're stuck in one place, like the WYD energy. Like I feel like neither one of you even ask each other about your day. Like it's like whatever the conversation is focused on, that's what you guys are talking about. It's not like, oh, what did you do today? Or what did you do today? It's just like you have these ideas that you want to share, and finally it's like you have someone to bounce them off of, and they're like, finally I have someone to bounce these ideas off, these things that I've thought about. And it's not to say that you guys agree with each other on everything, but I feel like there's a lot of freedom with this connection where you're both very open to what the other has to say. So like even if what they say is something that you don't agree with, you give them space to be who they are without pressuring them, like, no, you have to believe the way that I believe. And they do the very same for you. Like even if they don't believe what it is that you're sharing with them, or they don't agree with it, they give you space to be who you are, and they don't judge you based on that. You don't judge them based on that. Like it's like, cool, we have differing opinions, but isn't it great that we can share those together without feeling like we're in the wrong, or without feeling like we're trying to pull teeth here? And it doesn't stop or interfere with the direction of the conversations that you have. It just is, it creates a lot more depth. And I feel like you are going to have a sense of freedom with this person that you've never had before. You're going to feel like you can be yourself. And I feel like this person feels that way too. I feel like with you, they really feel like there's no masks, or like they have to put on a show for you, or like they have to lie to you to get you to like them. It was never about that. There was just a direct, open conversation and complete honesty and complete transparency. And that honesty and that transparency is what leads the connection here. And I feel like your intuition wants to share this with you, because I feel like you are sensing the change. You're sensing the connection. You're sensing someone coming in, or you're already connected with this person, and you're sensing that this is something more than other connections that you've had in your life. But even though you're sensing that it's something more, you're still somehow, some ways remaining unattached. You're not trying to label it. You're not trying to make it something that it isn't. You're just excited to show up and find out what happens. And both of you guys are allowed to be really weird with each other and really unorthodox and different with each other. And that sense of freedom is what allows this to progress. And I feel like it might seem really slow at first, or it might not. It might seem very speedy, but I feel like this is something that is like, for the long term, it's just a really abundant connection. I'm not going to say relationship because I don't want to put a label on this for you. And I feel like you're in that place where, or you're going to be in that place where you also don't want to put a label on this, but this is a very abundant and prosperous connection. There's a lot of support here. There's a lot of understanding here. There's a lot of acceptance here as well. But the detachment is what makes it so profound. Like, neither one of you are looking for a romantic relationship, and neither one of you are looking for a friendship. Like, both of you are very grounded in your sense of self-worth and self-respect, and who you are and where it is that you're going in your life. And because of that, you know that you don't need another person to complete you. Rather, you're opening up to possibilities, and you're both mirroring each other in this sense. There may be an age gap. There may not, though. There may be an age gap here, though. I also feel like, regardless, it's just a very, like I'm seeing like a student and a teacher type energy, like a mentor. But I feel like it's interesting because whoever's older might have felt like, oh, this is someone I'm going to have to mentor. But I feel like the person that's younger is matching the older person, like step for step. So if you're the older one, this is someone who's going to be matching you step for step, and it's going to leave you completely flabbergasted. If you're the younger one, this is someone you feel like is on your level where you've never felt like that before. And it's like, even though there might be an age difference, like neither one of you are focused on the physical, like the age, the looks, like everything that everybody else deems as like worthy points of looking at for another person. Like, how much money do they make? What are they doing with their life? What are their goals? For you guys, it's very spiritual. It's a very spiritual connection. This does feel like soul tribe. It also feels like a reward for both of you. A reward for your hard work. For how much you've done on your journey spiritually. How much you've let go of. How much you've surrendered. I'm also getting a sense of like adventures. So this could be someone that you decide to travel with, or you have started to travel with. This could be someone like they're like your travel buddy, and you guys go and experience the world together, different cultures. Or maybe it's someone that you got on a language app somewhere. You connected to like language, and you're learning a language, their mother language, and then suddenly you guys, like, maybe they know your mother language, and you guys are able to communicate with each other in that way, and you share different cultures with each other, different backgrounds with each other, and yet you see the similarities, and your journeys have led you to this point. I feel like you guys are gonna have some really deep philosophical conversations, and you're gonna be like, oh, finally I can talk about this stuff with someone and not feel like they're like, oh, can you explain that to me? I don't really get you. Your intuition wants to share something with you, pile number 3. Yeah. Interesting. You know, this connection happens because of repression. That sounds weird, right? I want to wait to look at the bottom of the deck, but I feel like that's the thing. It's like there's some sort of repression here. There's someone here who has an issue with your ability to connect with others. They think it's unfair. So you've been dealing with someone who's very challenging and oppressive, and you've been dealing, or this could be multiple people too. People who feel like what you have in life has been very unfair. This could be a mother. It could be an Aries. It could be a friend. It could be anybody. This is also someone who's very materialistic. okay, that you've been dealing with. Someone who looks at the physical gain that someone has. So that's their money, their status, their wealth, their ability to own, material possessions and stuff. They don't look at the spiritual sense. And I feel like this is the type of energies that you've dealt with for a long time. And I feel like this is also the type of energy that this other person has dealt with for a very long time. In fact, you could still be dealing with these energies. Like, this is something you both could be sharing in common, that you're dealing with these oppressive energies. These people or these situations who are trying to make you feel small. And there's something about this connection that helps you both to unlock the shackles that have held you both down. And whether it's for a long time or for a short time, there's one thing that's for certain, is that both of you have been forever changed by the other. Whereas maybe you've been changed by all the people that you've had in your life up until now, and they've been changed by all the people that they've had in their life. But the two of you will leave such an imprint on one another that if for some reason you don't stay in each other's lives for forever, there will always be that imprint on each other's hearts where it's like, I'm so glad that I met you. I'm so glad that I had an opportunity to talk to you, to share with you, because you made me feel like I had a home, like I had a place that I belonged. Like I had a group of people who accepted me, even if it was just you and this person. Because for so long, both of you have been fighting against this energy of greed. And that's where the dissonance is. You're on a very spiritual journey. You can't be driven by greed, right? You have to let the greed go. That's something you have to surrender at the beginning of the spiritual journey. It's something that humbles us along our journey. And I feel like both of you have surrendered to the greed, and you're both looking at things in a very well-rounded and worldly view compared to the people that have been in your life. And there's people here who are fighting every chance they get to suppress you even more, because they feel like what you have is something that they're owed. But this person, the way that they show up for you and the way that you show up for them, you teach each other that to be unapologetically yourselves and not feeling like you need to hide behind, oh, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Did I hurt someone's feelings? Are they going to agree with me? Are they going to disagree with me? Rather saying like, I just want to know who they are, and I'm glad that they want to know who we are. Like that, who we are, right? Who I am. Like that freedom is what actually changes the way you deal with these types of energies. You're no longer giving them space. And your intuition is trying to help you through this as well. And I feel like just giving you the freedom to let go. Yeah, there's been a lot of spiritual oppression here. Your journey. Feeling like you have to hide your journey from a lot of people or keep it on the down low. Right? On the low, on the low, on the low. Now you gotta keep us on the low. Dímelo, baby. Dímelo, nene. And now you gotta keep us on the low. I think that's by Wolf. It's Eric Sanchez is the name of the guy, but it's the group name is Wolf. And it's On the Low. If you want to check out the name of the song, like listen to it. It's honestly, I'm gonna be real what it's about. This is weird. It's not like when you watch the video, you're like, oh, okay. It's about a guy going over to see a girl who's with this really rich dude, and she's cheating on the guy that she's with him, which again, I'm not an advocate of cheating, right? But he's saying you got to keep us on the low. And it's interesting because it's almost like this dynamic in life where everybody's feeling like you're cheating on reality with spirituality, and you've had to keep your spirituality on the low. And that's what this feels like. It's weird that it's coming out in that type of analogy, but that's what it is. It's like they're saying, oh, you know, like you're trying to do one over on reality and create your own reality because that's what you want. You live in some fantasy land and it's not ever going to come to fruition. And your intuition is reminding you that you took this journey for a purpose, and you took it for a good purpose. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. A lot of negativity. A lot of negativity surrounding you right now. Or has been a lot of negativity surrounding you. Yeah. And your perspective, it has to do with how you perceive the world. That's where the negativity's at. There's a lot of people who see the way that you see the world, and they think you're bat nuts crazy. They're like, oh no, here's pile 3 with the way they see the world. Like, they're just trying to live in some dream realm. They don't have their 2 feet on the ground. But, you know, the way I see it is that you're probably more grounded than any of these people. And if they don't see it, then, you know, that's their problem. But I feel like with the dice, what the dice are showing here is that there's luck coming your way. And your intuition wanted to share that with you, is that you've been dealing with some really crazy, disconnected, uncompromising people because of the way you see the world. And here's the thing is, you've grown entirely comfortable being you and being authentic, but you don't share things with people. You don't share the way you see the world. You don't share your beliefs. Like, there's moments when you pipe in when it's very surface level. Like when it's just like, oh, we're just going to coast along the surface here. We can't get any deeper than that. So you know how to keep conversations going and stuff. Like, you're really good at that. But I feel like that's the thing is, no one gets to know the real you. No one knows what you're capable of. No one knows what you believe, because when you tried to share those parts of yourself, everybody was suppressing you and like, I don't want to learn that. I like living in my reality of illusions because that's what I'm comfortable with. And this person that you meet sees the world the same way you do, or is the same kind of logic that you do, or the same kind of reasoning that you do, the same kind of deduction that you have. And there's some sort of kinship that develops from that. Yeah. Some sort of kinship that develops, and it comes at a time when you feel lost, like completely lost. Like, that's it. Like, you might have other friends that you're able to connect with. You might have other friends that you're able to have that conversation with, but this feels much deeper. Like I was saying, there's someone here who feels like a mentor. I do feel like that might be you, pile 3. Like, I feel like you might be a mentor to a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of people who are seeking your advice. They're still stuck in the material realm. They're still surrounded by negativity. They share that negativity with you, and they're still kind of uncompromising in the way that they're moving forward. And you still care about a lot of these people, I feel, that, you know, like if they're clients or if they're just people that you help give advice to, but there's still this, like, it's the cracks in the road, right? Like, there's still an uneven give and take here. But then there's someone that comes in and right away, without even knowing each other's last names, or without even knowing their birthdays, or without even knowing your favorite colors, you know, like the things that people want to know, like, you guys know each other. You know each other. Like, they know more about you in the time that you've spent talking to them than people who've known you, like, for your whole life. And it's because you for some reason didn't feel like you needed to hide yourself from this person. And likewise, they don't feel like they need to hide themselves from you. But I feel like this comes at a time when both of you guys have really just given up on there being someone out there that you can have these types of conversations with. Like, you both have tried to connect with many people. You both have tried to maybe even date other people, or maybe you've tried to just build friendships with other people. And, you know, like, it's not that you don't have friendships or connections. I feel like they have friendships and connections too, but I feel like there's something really special about the two of you together and the way you come together. And your intuition is trying to share this with you so that you remember that the reason you took this journey wasn't for naught. It was for a purpose. It was because there's better days out there. Better days are gonna come. I hear that Akon song. It's been coming up a lot recently. God, thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah. Right? Like, I feel like that's what it is. There's like a lot of beautiful days. And I feel like a lot of your beautiful days will be with connecting with this person. You look forward to it, but you're not attached to it. So like, if time goes by where you guys aren't able to reach out to the other, you're both sending positive vibes. Like, oh, I hope things are good with them. Like, same thing with you. Like, if you're not able to reach out, they're like, oh, I hope things are really good with pile 3. But it's like the minute you guys come back together, it's as if no time has passed. It's as if it's a timeless connection. It's almost as if no time has passed when you guys first meet each other. It's like you've always known each other. But it's going to be way different than, you know, you've met people in your life. You're like, I feel like I've always known you. Like, you've met people like that, right? This is going to be one step above that. Maybe even a few steps above that. Like, it's going to be like, I know you. Like, it's, I don't, like, I know you. But I know you. I don't know you, but I know you. He's like, I don't feel like we've met or we already knew each other before. Like, I just know you. I've always known you. I've always known who you are. You've always known who I am. It's like, it's much more profound connection than maybe you've ever experienced before. I really feel like it is going to be. This is like someone who's like this with you. But it's like a very equal give and take. And it feels very philosophical. This feels like a very deep spiritual journey. Like, it's not about learning about the surface level stuff about each other. But together, I feel like without realizing it, you both are surviving very negative situations. Like, even if you talk to them, I bet if you ask them, like, are you dealing with a lot of negativity over there? Like, are you dealing with a lot of hardships? I feel like they would be like, yeah, I am. What about you? And you could actually share with them the truth of the situation. Yeah, I really am. I'm dealing with some difficult stuff. And it's deep. And there's a lot of love between you two. Could be same sex. Could be opposite sex. Okay? Like I said, this is not something romantic. This is a kindred soul energy. It has the potential to turn romantic, of course, right? Of course, there's always that potential, but it's not to look at like it's romantic. I feel like this is just something where you guys bump into each other and suddenly that's it. It was the spark that you both needed. That was it. I keep hearing out of this world. Maybe you guys shared starseed lives together. Like on a different planet or different galaxy somewhere. You guys shared a life together on a different galaxy. And this might be your first time incarnating together on the worldly plane. And I know this is like some really far out stuff, but it's coming in really strongly. And so like this could be it. It's like you guys both have this very keen view of the world. And you see things, like the very nuanced things, and you recognize that people are stuck in these never-ending traps that they're in, and they all are very arrogant in the way that they are in their traps, and you both are able to talk about these things not without judgment. Like, you're not even judging other people. Like, you're just like, wow, have you seen this? And they're like, yeah, I've seen this. Have you seen this? And it's like, yeah, I've seen that too. And then, like, even if you feel like it is going judgmental, like, even if one of you says, oh, well, we shouldn't be judgmental, it's like, there's, like, always this energy that comes back. It's like, I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not judgmental, but I think it's something that we should be aware of. And it's something that gives you a sense of, it's a relief. That's what I feel. Relief. And it's knowing that you're not alone in the physical world. There's something tantalizing about that. Saturn. Yeah, this has been, you both have been dealing with this struggle, feeling restricted, experiencing struggle, learning hard work and patience. This is something you both have been dealing with. It's been very hard for both of you. I feel like you're both just it's not even about focusing on the negative anymore. It's just about focusing on moving forward the best that you can. And you both are so focused on moving forward. That's why this turns into something that's so abundant, because it's not, it's like you guys could totally complain to one another. And not to say that us talking about our lives is complaining, but I'm trying to paint the picture here where it's what they're showing me. It's like, this is someone you could totally complain with, like, oh, this happened and this happened and this happened and that happened and that, and they totally listen, judgment free, and they probably would mirror that energy and say, yeah, this happened and this happened. But for both of you, you both just need like a reprieve from complaining about life, from you complaining about life, and from other people complaining to you about life. Like, you both just need a reprieve, and just like, can we just talk about other stuff, like the universe and the cosmos and the ocean and the world and culture and food that you want to try but have never had a chance to try? You know what I mean? Like, you want to know the other, but not like, it's like, maybe we'll get to that point where we talk about what's going on in our lives, but not today. Like, let's just talk about the things we've always wanted to share with others but never had a chance to. You know, like, if you'd rather be a superhero that has strength, or someone that has incredible smarts, and why? Like, what's the why behind that? Not just answering the question, but digging in deeper. Like, why? Understanding the psychology behind it, right? Like, what is that drives you by that? You know how when people ask those questions, like, they're questions that are supposed to be icebreakers, but everyone just has gotten into this habit of just answering the question, and then when you ask why, there's always a, I don't know, or just cuz. You know, it's so bland, like they don't dig in deeper. But I feel like this is someone who knows themselves, and so when they say the answer, they're like, oh yeah, you know why? Because I would do this, and I would do this, and I would use it for this, and I would try to change this, and I would try to impress upon this, you know. And so this is not just someone who's a generic answer. Like, they're gonna go in with you as far as you let them, and they're gonna mirror you. Yeah. Okay, I didn't even know what this was. I was just totally talking, looking out the window, but this flipped over. We have the sun in Sag. So a lot of adventure with the two of you here. Ninth house placement is a very spiritual connection. We have enthusiasm coming out here. Yeah, you're both very enthusiastic, very excited to talk to one another. Like, you both just really enjoy the other person's energy. There's something about it. Like, even if you haven't met in physical form, in person, what is it, IRL, if you haven't met, it's like there's something about each other that you guys keep drawing each other to one another. You just can't help it. Like, it's just something that's like, oh yes, I get to talk to pile 3 today, and you're like, yes, I get to talk to my person today. Ah, I'm so glad about that. Like, even if there's a day that goes by, you're like, that's okay, I hope my person's okay. And they're like, oh, I hope pile 3's okay. Like, it's not like, oh damn, yeah. They're not like that. And I don't feel like you're gonna be like that either. Like, you're just excited. You're so excited. You're like, yes, there's somebody out there like this. I'm so happy. Yeah, exactly. We have the moon in Aquarius, 11th house placements, right? Again, community energy here. So this is someone that you're going to meet, and they're going to be giving you that sense of community, but also reminding us and confirming what I was feeling with the dice is that sense of detachment here. You both are incredibly independent people. You have both traveled your journey alone, in solitude. You have no problem relying on yourselves. So having someone to share that with is a strange feeling, but it's also very exciting. And so I feel like that's why we have the moon in Aquarius here with independence, just pointing that out. You both are very, very independent, very capable of doing this dolo. But having someone to share it with is just, I just feel like it's so exciting for you. I feel like it feels so good to be able to express yourself in a new or original way, maybe. Not even a new way. I feel like a very original way. Interesting. We have Thoth coming in here with Divine Masculine. So again, pointing towards this something very spiritual. I'm not here to put labels on this. Even though we have Divine Masculine coming in, I feel like you're connecting with the Divine Masculine. Okay, whether this is a woman or a man, non-binary, whatever it is, this is someone who is exuding divine masculine energy. Like, that is their powerhouse energy. They're very much in that, and they're very healed. Like, this is not someone coming from a toxic masculine energy. This is someone who's coming from a healed masculine energy. And that means that they know how to take action and control their lives in a very capable way. It's a very powerful energy. Yeah. Oh, we've got Kalima here with spiritual transformation. I cannot make this up. This is going to transform both of your lives. Like I was saying earlier, that energy where you both have been changed by everybody that's come into your lives, but together the two of you are leaving an imprint on each other's hearts like never before. Like never before. You have no expectations for each other, but you guys want the absolute best for one another. And together you guys grow beyond these very difficult Saturninian type energies, right? Moving on from the struggle, the hardship, the pain. Yes. Okay. First, we've got these two flipped over. We have companionship with dog. Yeah, so this does feel like friendship, right? This is a friendship, a connection. Okay, again, no labels here. So connection, this is a true connection for you. This is someone who's going to share a lot with you. You're going to share a lot with them. And then we have this fear with hyena, moving from this desolate energy, which we see here, the types of energies you've dealt with, right? Trying to learn how to be comfortable with yourself and express yourself in a very difficult situation, moving into this abundance. We see that happening right here in this energy. You're moving from this poverty into this prosperity. And they're the ones that are helping with that. And the same with them. They're moving from this poverty energy into this prosperity. You're both helping each other see a much deeper truth in this reality than you could have ever hoped for. This is no longer this ideal that you're trying to strive for. It's actually happening here in the now. Okay, and we've got armadillo on the bottom here with groundedness. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is some kind of ancient connection that the two of you have. This is the Mayan energy coming in here, and the Mayan temples are the same as the pyramids in Egypt, connecting with the star constellations and stuff like that. So going back to what I was saying earlier, this could have been someone you shared a like a star journey with, or a starseed journey with. There's a dog crying next door. He just wants in. But if you see here, like, they're all painted up to look like the armadillos. So it could have even been the reptilians. It could have been, I keep hearing galactic, yeah, something galactic here. So, I don't know all the, I know that there's, now they're all like totally evading me. There's like Osiris, there's Orion, there is the Palladians, there's Arcturus, there's the reptilian race, there's, I know there's a whole bunch of them. I don't know them all, but you guys could have shared a life like that together, and this is the first time that you've incarnated together on this earth. So I do feel like many of you do affirm with the divine feminine energy, and this is the divine masculine. But again, I'm not getting labeled energy here. Okay, that's not what I'm getting at all. That is not what this feels like. This does not feel like twin flame energy at all, okay? I just want to point that out. That's not what this feels like. Okay, whoa. Yeah, Imam Koeli with make peace with the past. And I feel like together, that's exactly what you guys are doing. You're helping each other make peace with what's happened in the past. But it's coming from a forward motion, a forward movement. Yeah, Pisces, tune into your intuition. So confirmation, this is what your intuition wanted to share with you. Also, I do feel like intuitively, you're just going to be drawn to this person. Like, you might not know why, but you're just intuitively drawn. And the same with them. They're going to feel very intuitively drawn to you. I feel like I want to do this one first. Yeah, so we have the sun in Virgo with health. So maybe you guys had a lifetime together in ancient Egypt as well. With the symbolism, we were talking about the Egyptian pyramids and the Mayan pyramids here. Well, I feel like this is going to be a very healthy connection, very full of life, of vitality, of excitement, of adventure, of forward motion, of activities. Like, I feel like together you're both going to get each other out of this dark energy, this almost like depressed energy. 12th house. So again, pointing towards very spiritual here. Spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So a lot of healing between you and this person. Okay, and that's what your intuition wanted to share with you today. Yeah, and then we have first quarter moon, face those obstacles. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like, this is very symbolic, this energy moving from the shadow to the light, right? That's what this feels like. It's like, and when you look at the card spread, this is the past moving into the future. And so I feel like right now there's an integration of both the shadow and the light. And you're moving from that into full embodiment of the light. And it's like you've already done the pushing the boulder up the hill and it's falling like a million times. But together you guys are able to push the boulder up the hill and get it over the other side. And now you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's what this feels like, okay? So let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book for you. We're going to see what it says. Yeah, we have Sun and Uranus. So brighter days are going to come. This is that energy I was getting again. And the river is showing this forward movement. Feels like, again, going from the shadow to the light, right? Like the sun is starting to shine on everything. I know it's coming this way, but you can see the clear line here in the card where the colors start to brighten from darkness to light. The same energy we got here, which totally makes sense why they wanted this one to go last, right? But that's a very palpable energy. It's like, again, like even with the fear card, moving from the darkness to the light, the darkness to the light, the darkness to the light. It's like the same energy, right? So very, very strong energy for the both of you here. And I feel like you're both giving each other exactly what you need and what you desire and what you deserve. You're both showing up for the other in a very clear way. And it doesn't have to be something huge. It can be very small, but it can be very transformative in a small way. So it says the ultimate hidden truth of the world is that something we make and could just as easily make different. Let me try that again. The ultimate hidden truth of the world is that it is something that we make and could just as easily make differently. Okay, and that's by David Graeber on Sun opposite Uranus. We also have, at each new dawn, I greet the day. It's a beautiful day. With a spark of dissent, plot my escape, vision my ascension, summon the will to rise above the tedious boundaries of normal. Oh, to be oneself, requiring not permission, and then to be another self whenever I choose so. Yeah, so the freedom to be who you are, unapologetically authentic. It says, here's where the principle of life force, creativity, and willpower meets the principle of emancipation, rebellion, and sudden breakthroughs. The pair speaks to the relationships between individuality and ingenuity, technology and progress, freedom and creativity, aspiration and awakening. Sun Uranus can also foreground to the tense relationship between personal ambition and social equality. The gifts here are, put simply, your own gifts, whatever it is that makes you you. Because of Uranus's association with sudden breakthroughs and ecstatic rebirth, these energies help you to unlock your creative potential, validating the parts of you that are quirky or unusual. Sun Uranus helps you to lean into your own weirdness and follow your eccentricity down blind alleys, around new corners, and into unfamiliar territories. These gifts will be most readily available to you if you are open to tearing up the rulebook and abandoning the best laid plans in favor of spontaneity and improvisation. Yeah, so the way you guys meet is going to be unique to you. You can't be ready for surprises, but you can learn to loosen your grip on the status quo and work to lessen your attachments so that when they arrive, you can enjoy them. You might find yourself seeking out causes to support, political groups or protest movements to get involved with, or just interesting new people to connect with socially. Yeah, this is definitely a social connection. You might also tend to play the fun, interesting, and rebellious role in group settings. With Sun Uranus, you're willing to go out on a limb and be different. This pair wants to shake up the snow globe and worry about where the flakes will settle later. The Uranian desire to upset the apple cart might make some people a little nervous, so remember to draw upon the good-natured and amicable facets of the solar archetype to help you express ideas in ways that others can accept. In doing so, you'll be able to energize the atmosphere of any group and social setting you are participating in. And I do feel like you've mastered that, but it's just people were so averse to accepting you, and it just got really old really fast. It says Sun-Uranus energies inspire kind of utopian idealism that plays out both externally as social political project and internally as a heroic psycho-spiritual quest of individuation. Yeah, Buckminster Fuller, Sun trine Uranus, said that we are called to be the architects of the future, not its victims. With Sun-Uranus, you are called to unleash the power of your imagination and set your creative spirit loose upon the world. As Bucky points out, there's no introduction manual for the spaceship Earth. What? I kept saying that, like galactic energy. What is happening right now? And our progress depends on people thinking things out fresh rather than unquestionably accepting conventional wisdom. That is something next level. Hold on here. It reminds you that you generally cannot solve a problem using the same tools that caused it in the first place, but have to be creative. The challenge is here, you may not respond well to authority. You might have difficulty participating in activities that require rigid adherence to rules and regulations. Authority figures who enforce the rules in an obstinate or inflexible manner will be particularly frustrating, especially if the source of their power seems arbitrary, corrupt, or unjust. You may need to continually check in with your desire for emancipation and ensure that you are oriented towards something worthwhile. Many rules need to be broken and many structures are prisons, but not all of them. Some constraints, when worked with rather than against, are conducive to greater degrees of creative freedom. This doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for liberation. It is just that your Sun-Uranus traits in and of themselves do not contain all the wisdom that you need in order to know what's worth being liberated from. Other difficulties can arise in the form of unwelcome disruption, especially if you are somebody who experiences routine as a source of security and contentment. Uranus is the archetype of itchy feet. You might find that patterns of behavior that normally feel comfortable can switch to feeling boring, unsatisfying, or banal. The key to navigating times like this is to notice your inner Uranus is working to empower your individuality, unlock your creative potential. And the invitations here are Sun-Uranus energies are good for learning and beginning new projects, particularly anything with a clear Promethean character, reading and research subjects related to science, technology, astrology, or progressive politics, getting involved with protest movements and revolutionary emancipatory causes, or engaging in spiritual practices that aim to elevate or liberate consciousness and move you towards awakening and enlightenment. I feel like that's what you guys are going to be doing. You're going to be having spiritual practices with another or spiritual discussions that help you both awaken. During transits between these two, you may have easier access to ecstatic states than usual, so they represent wonderful opportunities to try ecstatic dance or something similar. This could be a fun time to try making art in a new way. Make use of technology, tools, or mediums that you haven't tried out before and try repurposing your existing methods to make something unlike anything you've ever previously attempted. So yeah, this is going to be a new adventure for both of you for sure, in a very profound and powerful way. I'm super stoked for you, Pile 3. What a powerful reading. So this is what I see here for you today. If you felt like this was your reading, you know what? I want to leave a heart down below. Let's do a blue heart. We'll do a blue heart. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little blue heart below or the hands hearts like this and say, by opening up and being unapologetically who I am, I magnetize the people who understand, believe in me, and support me moving forward. And if it resonated with you, it'd mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to your intuition for coming forward to share this message with us today. And until next time, Pile number 3, stay human. Bye.